I've rewritten hundreds of resumes. Some got interviews almost immediately. Others didn't improve at all. And that's when I realised something that completely changed the way I think about careers. Sometimes the resume isn't the problem. In fact, fixing the resume can actually distract you from the real reason you're not getting hired. Today we're opening case file number 003. Because this investigation starts with a resume, but it ends somewhere very different. And if you've been tweaking your CV for weeks without seeing better results, you may have been solving the wrong problem all along. The case. A few months ago, someone sent me a message. It was short, frustrated, almost defeated. It said, "I've rewritten my resume 7 times. I've paid for professional reviews. I've used AI. I've followed every piece of advice I could find. Why am I still not getting interviews?" At first, it sounded like another resume case. So I opened the file, reviewed every section. The formatting was clean. The spelling was fine. The structure worked. Could it be improved? Of course. Every resume can. But nothing explained why this candidate wasn't getting interviews. Something wasn't adding up. So instead of looking at the resume again, I started looking everywhere else. That's when the investigation changed direction. Evidence A. The first thing I noticed wasn't on the resume. It was the application history. Over 4 months, this candidate had applied for roles in marketing, sales, operations, project management, business development, customer success, administration. 7 different career directions. Now imagine you're a recruiter. Yesterday, this candidate wanted to be a marketing coordinator. Today, they're applying for operations. Tomorrow, they're applying for business development. What story does that tell? Not that they're versatile, that they're searching. And employers don't hire people because they're searching. They hire people because they're a solution. Evidence B. Then I looked at LinkedIn. The headline said, "Experienced professional." Experienced doing what? For whom? Solving which problems? There was no clear professional identity. The resume wasn't creating confusion. The positioning was. And because the positioning was unclear, the resume could never fully succeed. Evidence C. Then came the biggest clue. Every application used the exact same resume. No adjustments. No emphasis. No tailoring. The candidate wasn't presenting themselves as the obvious fit. They were hoping employers would connect the dots themselves. Here's the problem. Recruiters don't have time to build your story for you. If your value isn't obvious, someone else's will be. The breakthrough. This is where the investigation took an unexpected turn. We barely changed the resume. Instead, we changed the strategy. We chose one target role, one direction, one professional identity. LinkedIn changed. The resume changed slightly. Applications became intentional. Everything started telling the same story. And for the first time, employers knew exactly where to place this candidate. That was the breakthrough. Not because the resume became perfect, because the message became clear. Diagnosis. This case taught me something I wish more people knew. A resume doesn't create your professional identity. It reflects it. If your career direction is unclear, your resume usually looks unclear. If your positioning is inconsistent, your resume becomes inconsistent. If your strategy lacks focus, your applications will too. The resume wasn't the problem. It was simply the first place the real problem became visible. Think of it like a car's dashboard warning light. Replacing the light doesn't fix the engine. It just hides the symptom. Too many people spend months polishing the warning light instead of opening the bonnet. Viewer investigation. Let's run a quick investigation together. Imagine someone removes your name from your resume. Nothing else changes. Could a recruiter still tell exactly what role you're trying to get? Within 6 seconds? Or would they have to guess? I'd love to know. Comment with just one word. Clear or unclear. No explanations, just your honest answer. Case findings. Here's the official finding from case file number 003. Most people don't lose opportunities because they have bad resumes. They lose opportunities because their resume is trying to represent a strategy that doesn't exist. The document wasn't broken. The direction was. And once the direction became clear, the resume finally had something meaningful to communicate. Next investigation. Case file number 004 begins with a sentence we hear every day. I can't get hired because I don't have experience. But what if that's not actually true? In our next career autopsy, we'll investigate the case of a graduate who believed they had nothing to offer until we looked a little closer. The evidence tells a very different story. Before your next application, download our free evidence brief number 001, the 15-minute CV Fix. It's a practical guide that helps you identify common CV and career positioning mistakes in just a few minutes. You'll find the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed helping solve today's case, consider subscribing. Because every week we open another investigation into the hidden mechanics of hiring. And here at Career Hack, we reverse engineer why careers succeed or fail.